how God heals a broken relationship. You may have had a relationship that you thought would never be broken. Friendship so tight, close in many ways, it had lasted over time, but all of a sudden, seemingly out of the blue, something became so big between the two of you that there had come to be a separation. How does God heal a broken relationship? The Apostle Paul and Barnabas were close friends. They'd been to hell and back with each other. They had served the Lord. They'd seen the power of God move in all kinds of amazing ways, and yet something came up between the two of them that caused them to separate, probably for a period of 2 or 3 years. It was over the issue of this young man, John Mark, who happened to be a cousin of Barnabas, going with them on the second missionary journey. They had had their first trip, their first missionary journey as it was called. John Mark went with them, but he left them just a few days into it. He went back home to Jerusalem. The Apostle Paul was so bothered by that he said, we can't risk that again. The mission is too important. We can't risk it. On the other hand, Barnabas, it was about mercy. The Apostle Paul, the principle of mission. Barnabas, the principle of mercy. Yes, we should take John Mark. Well, they fell out, as we say, they fell out over that issue. Paul took Silas. John Mark went with Barnabas. It was a matter of a couple of years probably before the fellowship was restored. So how did God do that? First thing, He allowed time to pass. Time to pass. Time to pass. Somebody could have forced Paul and Barnabas into a room and said, you guys need to make up. You got to get past this. They might have come out with some words, said some things, and had some kind of a polite little gesture. But it would have been as phony as a $2 bill. They weren't ready. They weren't ready. They were feeling so strongly about the positions that they had taken. So time needed to pass. As time passed, the Lord evidently was causing His light to shine in on their hearts and to begin to soften their hearts. John would write, if we walk in the light as He is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus cleanses us from all sin. The light of God's truth shining in on both hearts, and the Lord will heal a relationship one piece at a time. He shows us both where we need to be corrected, we need to be changed, we need to be softened. Another truth is that Peter wrote, be fervent in your love for one another, because love covers a multitude of sins. You're never going to have a perfect friend. They're never going to completely agree all the time. And if we're people of principle, we can find points of real disagreement at times, but love covers a multitude of sins. Paul also would say to the Corinthians who were disagreeing with him and were not wanting to receive his leadership, my heart is open to you, O Corinthians. Would that your heart would be open to me. As time passes, what needs to happen within us is that our hearts stay open toward that brother or sister that we're separated from, at least for the time being. Eager for the time when the relationship can be restored. The last part is the Spirit will prompt you when it's time. The Spirit will prompt you when it's time to take a step in the direction of reconciliation. It's not on you to make it happen. The Lord knows when your overtures toward reconciliation will be received. A text, an email, a phone call, a visit. Time passes, and the Lord uses that passing of time to do some things in the individual hearts. If you have an interest in going a little further with us, click the button at the bottom of your screen, and I believe you'll be blessed. The Lord does heal broken relationships. He knows how to do it. God bless you.